does, then we'll have a live price.
Yeah.
And then also, which farms we're in, which liquidity pools we're providing. And as you can see, we basically converted a lot of the treasury from, when we raised the initial $2 million, we got half in BVS and half in Crow. But we divested them luckily, so we're holding a lot more stable coins now. And our biggest pool is basically xVERSA USDC. And I'm gonna be updating. I actually have to put in my historical data. That's why we haven't gone out with this yet. But basically, we'll have a weekly update where I'll give some comments how the performance of treasury got gone, and you'll be able to see in a chart, how it's developed, and you'll be able to read the comments here. But as you see, it's not really done yet. Hopefully, I think on Monday we'll release this on the public site.
Yeah, it's really looking nice, and the dev team has been working really hard on it. What I like the most is that if you look to the current market situation, that a lot of the coins and tokens have lost so much in value, and we actually did pretty well in the past week. Okay, we lost a little bit, but comparing that to the other coins and tokens in the market, it's we're actually doing pretty good.
Also, to actually comment a little bit more on that, we're actually finding ourselves in a really good situation in the sense that we raised the 2 million. 2 million, and then we've seen that a lot of NFT gaming projects in the market has kind of gotten beaten down a lot, and basically their own liquidity pools have like you can say, like typically for a game project is usually they raise around like say 300k on a launch pad, and then they use that as their initial bootstrap liquidity. And back in the good days, it usually goes up like 10x. So then that was deep enough liquidity of like $3 million. But now when most of these game tokens are down like 90-95% from the highs, the liquidity is more like 100k, which is too small actually to onboard new players. And they're in this weekend sensitive market, it's probably a bit harder for these game studios to raise more money, or take some of the money from their development budget to provide liquidity. So here's actually a golden opportunity for us to come in, and we can either, if we see a lot of value in their game project, to actually invest. And we already actually done another investment now in a private round for 100k, because we saw a good opportunity there to support a great game which we believe in. And they also delayed their IDO because of market conditions, and that basically gave us the opportunity to participate in the private round. So we will announce that next week, which game it is and so on.
Yeah,
And
look,
again,
looking really forward to that. It's also what somebody has once said: in a bear market or in a bull market, you earn money, and in a bear market, you get rich.
but we're not looking to aggressively deploy the treasury and try to find the most undervalued assets and just buy them. What we're gonna aim for doing now is actually looking at those products or games that looks very promising, but gotten beaten down a lot and are now struggling with the liquidity. So now we're actually and also because of this market means a lot of new games are actually delaying their launch. So that also noticed that we're not seeing that much activity on Chronos. So we decided to actually go to where the games are currently. So we made xVERSA token bridgeable, so we'll be able to bridge it over to Polygon and Binance Smart Chain to start with. So we'll be multi-chain now. And what this allows us to do is basically, which we've started the process talking to these different games on those blockchains, those who have basically not that much liquidity and are in need of liquidity, and basically offer our liquidity service. Because the way we will do that is basically we'll get their incentive, their token, by offering our liquidity, and we'll do it in a risk neutral way. So we won't be as exposed to the general market, but we'll be able to get some of these game tokens. And if the market then rebounds, then we get also be able to participate in the upturn as well. So So I think it's actually an extremely lucky position we're in, and this is what we're focused on hereafter. So we're gonna be building out as soon as after we launch a treasury page, so you can see the status of our treasury. We'll be gonna be launching like a game earn page where we will
Fantastic.
then with our partnership be able to hopefully pair Versa with those game tokens, and then you can stake the LP and start earning the game tokens.
Yeah,
It'll be
it's
very
good to
exciting.
say there's a lot of good things ahead.
Okay, maybe we should do the raffle. I guess a lot of people came here for it.
Yeah, hopefully
Or else
they
we
hopefully they also came for us, but let us
yeah.
not fool ourselves.
And
Okay.
also, actually, I should read some of the questions as well. I guess I think there've probably been a few ones I'll try to answer as well.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of questions.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go over one or two questions. Since Versa Games is by large is funded from IGO, others than the dashboard, then you give the guys mentioned previously. What other measures are planned to increase transparency? Well, that's basically what Noah just explained. Is by updating our dashboard and showing you guys in which games we diversify, and also the strategy of how we diversify and how we choose those games. It's not necessarily because of the biggest hype, but also we try to not expose our treasury too largely to market influences, but do it in a way that is good for the company, good for Versa Games and the token, but with the upside of when the market gets better and those game tokens will rise, which is undoubtedly the case, then we will benefit optimally for it. And in a bear market, we will diversify in a way that with liquidity as a service, we do not expose ourselves too deeply with all consequences of a bear market.
And I can say the Verse Games vision right now, like align. So when we look at games we want to, yes, underwrite or provide liquidity for, I mean, for me, I would say the most important, or there's two very important things, and I mean uh, they have to succeed with both to actually be able to be sustainable. But that's basically it needs to be a fun game, and it needs to have good tokenomics as well. So it's actually a positive investment or a positive expected investment. So those are the teams who are looking out for those who have a long term vision of building a great product that will be fun, and those who go into the ecosystem will also be financially taken care of and not too risky.
Yeah. There's another question: is there going to be differences or extra opportunities for those who followed Versa from the beginning? Yeah, there. When you have staked your Versa from the beginning, you will be eligible for the increasing factor the treasury will gain you on the xVERSA, as the xVERSA raffles continue during the months to come. If you staked in an early period, you will have more xVERSA than somebody who will buy Versa now, for example, or in half a year. They will accumulate less xVERSA because you're already in the pool for a long time. So the factor of the xVERSA staking comes into place for that. And the second part
I
of
mean,
the
yeah, I mean, I would say not just the amount of Versa tokens. I mean, hopefully, or I mean, what I expect is Versa token to actually steadily increasing. And when we build out the platform more, when we build out more partnership, bringing more revenue to treasury, I mean, then I expect the value of Versa to increase. So if you're early, it's I assume I am expect you to make a better return on your investment.
yeah
We're not like uh, even if you join later down the road. I mean, you wouldn't. We're not trying to like build a closed community. We're trying to have it being open for everyone to come in. But I would think by investing early, and if we succeed, it will take off very well, and early investors will be rewarded by that.
Certainly, certainly. Would it be possible to have something like a 1, 2, 3 steps on the side for those new in crypto space looking to get on board with Versa? Yeah, that's actually what we've been working on as well. That will be implemented further down the road. First, we're building on transparency for the treasury and the treasury dashboard. And then that will be followed. The long-term vision for us actually is that in order to be able to adapt the real world, so to speak, the conventional gamers onto the blockchain, must make it for them so easy as possible. So we're investigating different partnerships with different projects and protocols where on the back end everything is arranged for them through our state-of-the-art backend, where they can easily log into our dashboard or their dashboard and then see all the games we have invested in, but also that we have one token you can buy different assets with. So, for example, compare it to gold in World of Warcraft or V-Bucks in Fortnite. You can buy them on our with our storefront on the Versa platform. So you don't need any other tokens or difficult ways to go about in investing in those games. We will help you with that. So it will be adaptable for the conventional gamer and for the conventional people who are not really accustomed to blockchain technology. And that's the long-term vision. So we actually want to improve on that because that's we feel is a void in the current crypto space. And that another thing that lines up with that is another question. Where do you, or how do you think you're different to the competitors? First of all, we don't think we really have competitors, and not like we transcend above the rest. No, it's more like we don't exclude. Is we try to obtain partnerships and work together with all different projects that align with the vision of Versa Games. So it can be a technical partner, it can be a decentralized exchange or a central exchange, but it can also be different games. So we do not like to exclude an opportunity. And that's where you see a lot of projects and protocols are excluding. They have a narrow vision where we see ourselves as mediator for a lot of different metaverse, GameFi, investment opportunities.
I can give some more also on the roadmap. I mean, basically, what we see as our project is it has a few phases to it, and we're currently in phase one, which trying to capture like low-hanging fruits and the actual audience in NFT gaming right now, which is more crypto native people, but still a lot of people new to this field. So that what that kind of entails is we're working with uh, with NFT game projects directly, and we're trying to make discoverability process easier to find good and exciting games through the storefront. But then later on, and then also we'll enable token trading on the platform and NFT integration. But later on, where we see like more of a phase two, phase three will be onboarding traditional gamers into Web3 space. Then it'll be even more important to educate users about how to get into these games, and also actually kind of getting away from the whole what blockchain is on. We kind of want that a little bit more on the back burner and make the user experience a lot easier how to onboard onto games. And then we have different ideas how to solve that in in an easier way with different service providers. But that is yeah a second phase. And I would say in the like near term product development roadmap, I think maybe users could have seen that the development might feel a bit slow, or the communication's been a little bit sparse. But the reason for that is in this current time right now, where we're focused most of our energy is basically the talking to different game studios. So rather than holding a lot of events. So we're trying to, you know, make these either investment deals or, liquidity as a service, and also what we've been doing now, basically, making Russia games breachable over to Polygon and by Smart Chain, and also talking to those ecosystems over there and getting the support we need to make that migration a bit more official as well.
Yeah.
Someone had about security question.
Yeah. So that's a couple of security questions. Is when it comes to safety, nobody can guarantee the security of a smart contract, as we all know. However, auditing plays a significant role in identifying known smart contract issues. What is the strength of your project or your security systems? Did you have a third-party audit done? Yes, we did. We did an audit with Paladin Security, and we passed. And of course, that's not static. Like we passed, no, and that's done. No, we are constantly in contact. When there needs to be something audited or there needs to be something changed, we will first go about with the auditor and discuss with them the best way to approach. So it's a dynamic and constant collaboration between us and the auditor.
I can say, security is super important for me, as it should be very well. And I think, it's a big responsibility to, hold $2 million in the treasury. And sadly, right now, Kronos don't support any multi-sig solution. But as soon as they do, we will definitely move the treasury over to multi-sig. And I had talks recently with Fireblocks, which is a institution grade custodian solution. They're not supporting Kronos right now, but in 2 to 3 months, I expect them to do so. And so that comes to the security of the asset. On the web page, our CTO has over, I think, 12 or 13 years experience.
Yeah.
And worked with e-commerce platforms, and is well versed with all security things when it comes to DDoS attacks, or we will have like two-factor authentications on all our Outlook and all our GitHub and all that stuff, so we are not exposed to any phishing attack or someone taking over our deployment assets and so on. But when it comes to the smart contracts, right now what we have is extremely basic. What we have right now, deployed, is basically the token, the xVERSA token, which is the same as any other token. The most important part there is who owns the token, and that's owned by our deployer address, which is on a ledger. So that's quite safe. But of course, it would be better if that was a multi-sig who owns that contract, and it's also under a time lock, a 7-day time lock. So even if the owner would be changed, you'd have 7 days to come up with a solution to migrate xVERSA users. That could be just taking a snapshot, taking out all the liquidity, and then you would still be safe even if someone managed to take over that contract.
Yeah.
But and then what more? And also on the bridge, there's been a lot of bridge exploits. But there we partner up with multi-chain to handle all bridging of xVERSA over to Binance Smart Chain and Polygon. And I'm not sure how many assets they've had on multi-chain, but that's
A lot.
A lot of assets, and so far there's been no exploit. There's been a multi-chain exploit, but not on this. But that was a smaller one, but not on this specific one. So I think when it comes to security, I would say that would be as safe as any other major bridge out there.
Yeah, and as far as the Versa token in our treasury, it's as safe as we can make it at this point. And again, it's not static. It's not like we passed and then we go with our daily business. No, everything we do is security oriented on the back end. And our CTO is constantly monitoring and trying to do the best thing we can do for our investors and our community.
We got a good question here, actually. How does xVERSA Games make money? What strategy do you employ to generate income or profit? Actually, I would like to because I think it's when we say we'll generate a lot of revenue through liquidity as a service. I think maybe I could give a good example how that is actually done in details, maybe, for you to get a sense of what kind of revenue it can bring. So one would be, say we could do like an IGO support. So say, for example, a project wants to do an IGO. Say they raise 500k USD through a launchpad. So that means they get 500k USD. Usually they pair that with their own token to provide as the liquidity. But then that means they don't have that 500k for the development. So what we could do if we have RD liquidity for USDC xVERSA on a chain, then we tell this project, okay, instead of you putting 500k into your own liquidity, we'll just pair $500k worth of your token with xVERSA Games token. So then any user could then buy or sell that game token that just launched, and the project would be able to keep that 500k. But when we do this, then we're exposed to impairment loss. So if their token go down a lot, then we're losing our stable coin and getting more of their token, which is worth less. And to protect ourselves for that impairment loss, we'll agree with that project partner. Okay, if this happens, then when our contract ends, we'll return less of your token to cover our impairment loss. So basically, it's kind of like an impairment loss protection on the downside. And if their token do very well, that means we'll be having less of their token and get more stable coin, which is all good. But because we have to give back those tokens at the end of the liquidity as a service contract, then we're hurt by the impairment loss on the upside. So what we can do that is, again, we'll return less of their token, but we can return some of the more stable coins. So it will be as that project actually raises a little bit more money, so they can use more money for the development. But the difference will be we'll have more stable coins ourselves. And what this, as you know, is kind of like yield farming, or you provide a yield and you can get a 50, 100% APR, but you're exposed to impairment loss. But by doing this together with the partner, we can get that yield but not get that impairment loss. So that's kind of like the gist of where the revenue could come, and it can be around 50 to 100% APR on those deals.
Exactly.
The beauty of it is quite scalable, because we have decent amount of xVERSA. Like, we raised $2 million in stablecoin, but the treasury with the xVERSA is around $3.5 million now.
Yeah.
So you can scale that, and we have it in our tokenomics that we are providing liquidity for a lot of projects, and we need more xVERSA to pair with game tokens. We can basically have a vote or unlock some more xVERSA, so we can actually scale up the treasury even more. That's how the business model of liquidity as a service can work quite nicely, and it's very similar to what a lot of like OTC trading desks do when different products do a centralized exchange listing. They basically ask the projects to get their token, and then they'll market make, and then they'll give back less tokens depending on for them to make a profit.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm not sure if that's super clear or not, but
for me it is.
At least an attempt, at least to explain liquidity as a service and how it's.
Yeah, but we will be writing an article on it as well.
It's better to see it in action, and you will be able to see xVERSA Games performance as well, week by week.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go on to the first raffle. As said, we will be raffling from bracket 1, 2, 3, and 5. So for the first bracket, that's I will be raffling now. Let's give the wheel a spin. Now, let's see. Okay. Too bad we don't have any names. But this is bracket 1. So if you recognize the four digits, first four digits and the last four digits of your MetaMask wallet, you can contact us, and then you get to choose from either. Let me see which NFTs were still available. Elfin Kingdoms, Axie Infinity, Splinterlands, or Phantom Galaxies. And then let's go to raffle number 2 for the bracket number 2. Bracket number 2. There we go. Yeah, case that was the 100 to 1,000. This was bracket 2. And let's go over to bracket number 3. Bracket 3. And then the last one, bracket 5. Such a bummer that we cannot see any names.
It's scary we could see names though. I'm on the blockchain, yes.
So any of those four winners can win or can claim their prizes. You can DM us, and you can choose between the NFTs from Axie Infinity, Elven Kingdoms, Splinterlands, and Phantom Galaxies. So come forth, come forth. Maybe we still.
And also, there's been a secret snapshot as well for another. So we're gonna have a monthly secret snapshot. But we'll actually, to make that a little bit more interesting, we'll next time announce the price before the month is end, so you kind of know what you're expecting to, what you might be able to win, basically.
Absolutely.
Your versa staked.
So that's also one of the questions is how do we prevent token dumps? One for all is we are not a very volatile token because of the way our tokenomics work. We do not burn our token in a way like conventional platforms do it. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that, Noah.
I mean, to start off, all the only tokens that were circulating were the ones that were sold in the VVS IGO. All team members' tokens had a 3-month vesting and a 3-month lockup and a 2-year vesting period. So the pressure on Versa from and we didn't have any 5 round earlier or anything like that. It was fully self-funded project. So we have no insiders that had big amount of tokens which they could sell at a profit. But of course, I mean, Versa is below our IGO price, which is not the greatest. But that is a little bit due to current market has come down a lot, and I would say Versa has outperformed the market quite significantly. And just that we actually had in the beginning, our main liquidity pool was VVS Versa, so that mechanically, as long as VVS went down, I mean Versa went down with it unless they were buy on Versa to kind of counteract that. And it did cost the treasury a smaller amount. I think we lost like 200k, 250k in treasury. So you could also argue that the treasury value was less than what we raised at the beginning. But if we didn't divest Crow and VVS, our treasury value would probably have gone down to like 800K or something like that. So I think we're in
Absolutely.
a very lucky situation where we saved more than $1 million. So we're in a super strong position now to actually be a bit more aggressive with treasury, and like that's why we're doing our second private, participating in the second private sale round, and also actually utilizing our strength. Because I mean, right now I think our liquidity is almost up to $2 million. And looking at the daily trading volume, I mean, we don't need that deep liquidity on Kronos. We can take some of that liquidity over to Polygon and Binance Smart Chain, and leverage that by our liquidity as a service. And that's what our focus area has been on lately.
Yeah, and without giving away too much, it's there are some really interesting partners we're talking to right now. And well, we have a big announcement this week or the week after with a new game where we've been partnering up with, so that that's actually looking very promising for our investors, but also for the gaming community. It's a fun game. Yeah, it's actually we are in a very strong position, although the market is in a very challenging point. I think we are ahead of the game, and well, the long term will prove that.
I mean, it's the only impact we've had kind of from this market is, again, like I said, it kind of delayed a few go-to-market strategies for games. So this supporting games when they launch, or having games coming out to Kronos is taking a little bit longer. But what we're actually it's rather identified is a great opportunity for us to go where the games are, where they kind of need us. And right now there's a lot of games that would benefit by partnering up with us. So in fact, I see it as this environment have helped us a lot to actually to make these partnerships. I mean, we're in a very strong position to offer them a lot. So
Absolutely.
I think it's actually very good.
Well, and also I want to announce a new AMA. This Friday we will have a nice AMA with our current partners from DigiPals. We will be showcasing their new game mode, the New World. We will be going through that and possibly also have a little treat for you guys. So let's hope that all the winners come forth now this week, and you have up to when I believe next week Sunday to claim your prize, and otherwise we will do a re-raffle again.
No, I think instead of re-raffle, we'll just put this bunch into the Seeker snapshot.
Yeah,
so
or yeah,
you can get a bit extra more in that one.
yeah, that's a good way. Perfect. So I would like to thank you for your time, Noah. Good that you were with us, and I would like to thank our audience for being a part of this AMA and this raffle. And keep up the good work, people. I like being part of this community, and I like being part of this enterprise. So looking forward to the future. Thank you guys for being here, and we will get back to you soon.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care out there.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nou, 52,8. Hij breekt hem af. Hij breekt het rondje af. Dan staat 14e. Moet beter. Maar de eerste sector is veel te langzaam. Jagen op de tijd van Sebastian Vettel. 13-1. Duikt hij eronder? Oh, net. 13-0.
Ja, maar dat gaat niet genoeg zijn hoor, dit. Dat gaat absoluut niet genoeg zijn. Want daarachter zit natuurlijk nog Vettel. Die zou een klein sprongetje kunnen maken. Maar vooral Magnussen en Bottas. Tsunoda. Ja, daar verwacht ik ook nog wel meer van.
En Norris. Want Norris komt hier aan de streep voorbij en gaat voorbij aan Verstappen. Die nog binnen staat.
Tsunoda, nou dat is precies wat ik bedoelde. Richting 7.
Waardoor Ocon op de wip zit. Leclerc overigens is zojuist de pits uitgekomen. Dus die zagen hebben we gehad. Perez gaat naar buiten. Wat doet Verstappen? Staat nog altijd binnen. Ook Verstappen is naar buiten. Voor Ferrari en Red Bull is dit een kwestie van fine-tunen richting het derde gedeelte van de kwalificatie. En eigenlijk voor Lando Norris ook, maar voor de rest is het strijden om erbij te zitten.